Hey team, how you doing? Hey, so admin from PlexGuide. So we just did the video for the unencrypted edition. So basically we're going to repeat some of those steps and then add some with the encrypted edition. So a lot of you like to encrypt, which I generally understand. Just be aware that this is just a thing with me, but for years there has been no stories about your drive requiring encryption. You have to worry. It's good for general protection, but just understand that once you encrypt your data, you're stuck with the encrypted data until you decide to download it. Meaning that if you switch from encrypted to unencrypted, you will not be, you basically have to download it down, and then re-upload it, because we've had users who are like, oh crap, I didn't know that. So imagine having like 40 terabytes of data all encrypted. Well, you're gonna have to download it all so you can't access it. The downside to the encryption too is you can't access your stuff here in general. So if it's encrypted, it's gonna be a bunch of garbage. The upside is, I guess, your stuff is protected. So, you just got to weigh your cons and your pros, and just be aware that the encrypted edition is more difficult to deal with. So it receives lesser support. I just want you to know all that. So, if you're going to go down this encrypted route, you want to have some kind of idea how to use rclone a little bit. You want to understand how it works. And the reason for it is because PGBlitz is a project. I do foresee it lasting quite a long time, but things change, and I just want you to be aware that you may have to understand how rclone works in the future. So just want to drop that disclaimer on you. Don't mean to scare you. And you got to remember, you're paying for a business grade drive, right? Yes, if somebody really wants to get to your data, they can. So if somebody hacks onto your server, they can see all your data. There's ways around things, but what you have to be cognizant of is that you're paying for a business grade drive. Google doesn't care, as most companies, and Google's kind of really like this, but as with Google, they don't care as long as you don't make them care, meaning that Google's kind of usually forced by the hand of somebody. So if you decide to take your drive and openly share it, then yeah, you're going to have issues. If you create a weak password and somebody hacks your drive, then yes, it can get out there. So as long as you have a strong password, you do not share your drive, you'll be good to go. I've even had users ask me, hey, can you not share your drive just to copy stuff? Like, nope, because once you open it up, you don't know where it goes from there. All right, so enough about that, just some background information. Okay, so if you're fully confident and you want to go to encryption route, this is how you go about it. So we have to configure two things in PG move. So we got to do the G drive mount and then a Gcrypt mount, not T drive. T drive is for PGBlitz, in case some of you are tracking that. So we're gonna go to PG move. So right now I do have G drive configured, but I'm gonna go ahead and delete it because you need to see it. And you notice that the deploy went away, which is a good thing. So we're going to go ahead and deploy G drive. So G drive, remember, all lowercase, don't change the name. Other than that, you're going to be wondering why it's not working. So the client ID, this no longer exists. So, it won't do you no good. But remember, I'm under the assumption that you already did this. So that's in another video or somewhere within a wiki. This is, you enabled your API, right? Because if you forget to enable it, it's a bad day. And then you also need to basically set it up. Make sure that when you set up your ID, make sure it's for other, right? Because if you see client ID for web, which most of you may be tempted to pick, and I do warn in the wiki that it will not work. It just rclone will yell at you saying your stuff's all messed up. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and copy. Well, we're not going to go ahead and copy it. Normally I would, but that doesn't exist. So there's the client secret. Poof. There you go. And it works without it. Just remember that if you don't do this, that your drive speeds are going to operate at 10 to 25%, meaning slow scanning, slow playing, buffering, everything that you can name. Okay, so you can press enter, 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 then advanced config, no, and then auto config, yes, or no. I meant yes isn't doing it. Okay. Yeah, so the only time you ever do the Y option is if you're actually on the box and able to access everything. If you can't, then it's not going to work for you. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and paste. So use our PlexGuide, perfect. And then we're gonna take this and we're gonna copy and paste. Paste. And then configure Team Drive. No, you will never do that. Yes. Okay, so if I exit out of here, just to show you, it's gonna say deploy PG Drive drives, right? You don't want that. Later on, I'm probably gonna amend this where it says G Drive unencrypted, so your people are more aware. So it needs to say with encrypt. So the way you do that is it's going to pick up on the T drive. So we're going to do, Gcrypt. Sorry. So Gcrypt, and I'm going to kind of follow my old wiki here. So part of the purpose of getting these videos done is to help update the wiki. So right now, storage, so we're gonna type crypt, and then we're gonna type G drive encrypt. And it took me a little while to understand this, but if you understand how rclone works, it's basically saying point to this drive and put it in the folder name encrypt, right? I wasn't tracking that forever, right? And look what's there magically, encrypt. So in theory, if you were making, if you were trying to wanted to make a second encryption folder, you can name this encrypt 2, whatever you want it to be, right? Just as long as you have G drive in there, that's all that matters. So I'm just showing you that so you understand. Okay, so let me go back to my instructions here. And you can tell I really don't, I don't use the encryption option, but it's here for you, right? So you're gonna pick encrypt standard, you wanna encrypt your file names, and then you're gonna pick 1, and then generate a password. So you're gonna type Y. Do not forget your password. Again, do not forget your password. It needs to be the same password. If you're doing encryption again, it needs to be the same exact password, or you can't see everything. So we've had users say, hey, my stuff's not coming up, must be PG. And like, nope. 99% of the time is you didn't put your password in right and it's doing its own thing. So make sure that your password's consistent. So you want to salt it. So for salting, for most of you, is how password's breakable? Imagine salting is kind of like randomizing the keys again. It's like putting a password inside of another password, kind of mixing things up. So it prevents the standard password from just being leaked. So you're going to do that again, and you can have them both the same. It defeats the purpose of maybe having them both the same. Maybe keeps the adversary guessing, meaning anybody else. But just make sure you memorize both. Okay, so now you can see that it says, hey, encrypted, true, and then what we should be getting is there we go, G drive with encryption. So I'm going to do number 3. And just double checking. Oh, and the other video I did talk about the throttle. So the throttle is very important. It's best to just leave it at 10 megabits if you're going to consistently upload all the time, because remember, you only got a 750 gig limit. In theory, if you upload for 24 hours, it's really hard to trigger the upload ban. So it's like, in reality, it's really like 8.75, but I have some sleeps in between and some other stuff, and your computer's going to be busy. So if you set this up higher, you can, but if your computer's uploading for 24 straight hours at a fast speed, it's going to trigger an upload ban. So meaning I can't recall either if it just stops working outright or you got to reboot the system. I believe it just stops working for a while, but take that with a grain of salt. So I'm going to go ahead and press enter. And it's deploying. So you can see it's deleting all the services, which is a good thing. It's like and there goes gcrypt, and you'll see UnionFS, which will merge all of this. And now I'm going to have a video on UnionFS because I think that's confusing people too. It took me a while to wrap my head around UnionFS, really, it did. Okay, so now we should exit. And the first thing we can do is type sudo, which I'm already root, but I'm just doing it for you in case, systemctl status, and then you could say gcrypt. That's good, right? Because that means it's working. G drive should obviously be working, because if G drive wasn't working, that would probably go red with it, right? And then you could type UnionFS. So doing this actually gives you a good sanity check. It's like one of the first things that I do. Active, exited. That is perfect. You're good. I always do this kind of I always kind of do that as a sanity check, because without it, you don't know if it works, if you're guessing. Okay, there's also another one. You can also type sudo systemctl status. Man, I should have did it in the other video. Move, and I even got a service for that. This is what kind of deploys the script, because in reality, it's just really a simple script that just runs in a loop. So, because PG move is just dead simple, right? If you want to see where all the data is located, app data, PG drive, no, PG, PlexGuide, sorry. And then LSLA, and you can see that here's your rclone config that you did. So if I do that, I'm just going to cat it. You can see there's your information. And then if we do cat rclone, there's the rclone logs. So if you really just need to dig through the logs, there it is. See, bandwidth limit. So it's checking, nothing's uploading. And then LSLA, if we do cat move sh, this is the actual script that's running. So it's running a loop. So what we can do is we're going to go to cd mount move. This is where all your data is going to end up. Just trust me on this. we set it up like that. I wish in the past I wish I'd have kind of named it differently, because we got PG move and then move, but this is all before I really understood Linux, and I was just trying to kind of keep the terminology alike. I wish I'd have called it like transfer or something. But anyways, we're gonna do a touch. We're gonna do echo, and then we're gonna say echo I am Al Gore, and we're gonna store it into future president of the United States. If you watch South Park, you kind of probably get the joke. It's actually one of the quotes you see coming up about man, bear, pig. Okay, so anyways, we got that up and going. So I'm gonna type LSLA. Hopefully it didn't transfer yet. Good. So it will catch it within 30 seconds somewhere. And in the future, I'm gonna have a command that will help you keep track of this. If I type LSLA mount G drive, this is what's going to show me that's my G drive. See, that's simple. Okay, so now we can see that a file just recently uploaded, and there it is right there. And if I go to cd mount union fs LSLA, we can see that future president of the United States is there, which is what we did. And then if I go to cd mount G drive, we shouldn't see it. It should just be there. LSLA. See? So that's missing. So that's good. So that's the encrypted file that I just uploaded, and that's pretty much it. So hopefully you like, subscribe, all the good stuff, chat, let all your friends know. So this is a hobby project, and like I said, your enthusiasm is what drives me on a day-to-day basis, with many headaches and less sleep. But the biggest thing I like about PlexGuide is that it's really a program where we try to help people not only do what they want, like this in this process, but you learn Linux. I mean, I didn't understand Linux until I started playing with the project. So other than that, you have an awesome time. I appreciate you for checking out this video. Thanks. Bye.